Hi, everybody. Today I'm going to be reviewing a very well-known budget bourbon seen in almost every liquor store around from a very well-known distillery. And that bottle is Wild Turkey, also known as Wild Turkey 81. My stepson and stepdaughter got me this bottle, and I was very curious to try it. I have had the Wild Turkey 101, which is the flagship brand. That's the one that gets all the attention. That's the one that's probably the most commonly drank, most popular of the entire Wild Turkey line, regardless of expressions. The Wild Turkey 101, that's their flagship, and there's other expressions from there. But this one is we'll call it, basically, it's the lower proof alternative to Wild Turkey 101. It's 20 proof points lower at the 81 proof, and I guess that's what it is. It does offer a lower proof alternative, so I would assume it's going to be a little milder, because Wild Turkey is definitely known for its boldness, for its spice. And I'm curious to see how much, with this 20 proof points of dilution in this one, how much milder there is in that. That's really the main comparison for me. And I've had Wild Turkey 101 enough times. I don't need to do them side by side. I think that I will notice that pretty quickly. But just the basic facts of this. This is the Wild Turkey 81. It's been bottled at 81 proof since about 2011. Prior to that, it was bottled at 80 proof, and obviously 80 proof is the minimum requirement for bourbon to be bottled at, amongst other requirements as well. And the 80 proof, I think, was introduced back in 1974. But in any event, so this is it's 81 proof. There's no official age statement. They say it's in the range of 5 to 8 years. It says it on the back here. And number 4, alligator char, which is what kind of gives also some of the boldness in here. And it's interesting because the Wild Turkey 101, also no age statement, but that seems to be rumored about 6 to 8 years. It's close. So I would kind of call this probably in the 5-year range, give or take. Let's just call it that, maybe 6. Could be less, but somewhere around there, but nothing official. The mash bill is the same mash bill for all the Wild Turkey products, 75% corn, 13% rye, 12% malted barley. And I always kind of say this because 13% rye, you taste some rye spice. I don't know this because I'm going to have this in a minute, but in the Wild Turkey products, they definitely have a bold rye spice. But if you think about it, 13% rye, it's, there's some rye there, but there's plenty more higher rye bourbons, and yet it does drink like that. So the MSRP for this bottle is around $20, whereas the Wild Turkey 101 is in the mid-20s. Might vary by region, but again, my own impression, I've seen this bottle around, and I always kind of thought, for the $20, for the not $20, for the $5 or $6 to whatever it is, $5 difference, I would just get the 101, and I never thought to get this. So I've had the 101, I've had the Russell's Reserve single barrel, I've had the 10-year, I've had the rare breed. I do want to come back to that one again because that's something I might want to try again, but I've just never had this. So that's really the deal with this. I want to crack this open, and the real comparison for me is how much milder is this than the flagship 101. So let's get this in a glass and try it out. Okay, so we got this poured in a glass. That was a fair cork pop. The cork looks exactly like 101. The packaging, the plastic on it, everything looks exactly the same as the 101. And again, I believe they were both the packaging was both redone at the same time. When I think they took the 81 off this, they made this look different, like this. Just put the prominent Wild Turkey. And I remember when they did that on the 101. I actually said that the bottle looked a little classier than it did before. Just some updated packaging, but a lot of the same similarities. So right here, it's so funny. Just even looking at it, I feel everything just feels a little lighter. It's just I couldn't help but even the nose. But let's do that right now. I detect some of those same Wild Turkey notes. Everything so far, again, I expect everything from 101, but a little milder, a little more watered down because of the 20 proof points lower. But the nose is very light. You get a little bit of spice, but again, not as much as on the 101. Getting some very light. I get a little caramel, vanilla. but light. So let's just get right into the palate and give it a taste. Cheers. That's exactly it. It's Wild Turkey 101 minus. I mean, basically, this, I think, well, let's give this another taste. You know, when people say what's a good bourbon for beginners, Wild Turkey is not one of the ones I usually pick because I do think it's a little bit bold. And when I'm thinking of it, I'm thinking of the 101 and the other expressions. I just think that for a beginning bourbon drinker is a little bit high, both in terms of the proof and in terms of the boldness of it. But and just in a quick drink at this, this could be included in that category of a good budget to start with. This you're getting an 81 proof, because basically when I would recommend something for a beginning bourbon drinker, it would have to be something that is, to use the term which is sometimes very loosely used, of smooth. I certainly wouldn't recommend a high proof. I would never go higher than 90 proof for a beginning bourbon drinker, but I really do think a proof of 80 proof, in this case 81, somewhere to 86 proof, I think would be the best for a beginner. This might be that, to get a taste, maybe with a slightly bolder bourbon, but this being 81 proof, let me give us another taste. This could be that. I'm getting all the same notes of in Wild Turkey. Got some caramel, vanilla. I do taste some char. You want to taste that alligator. I tend to taste that. Maybe a little cinnamon. And I got spice, but it's not as pronounced. Nothing is as sharp as with the 101. Yeah, this is extremely straightforward. Very straightforward. This is just as drinking 101, literally minus 20 proof points. You can taste the dilution in here. My personal preference between the two, no doubt, is going to be the Wild Turkey 101. And for me, it just makes sense because, you know, for a difference of 5,000 other 20 proof points and just a much bolder experience. But that's me. If I was a beginning bourbon drinker, I probably would want to gravitate to this. And I think this would be an excellent choice to include in a beginner bourbon. Somebody asked me, I was writing on a post, and I've had this a few times, and I actually recommend it as something which I don't really like, but as an example of what I'm talking about, the Benchmark Old Number 8. I love the Benchmark line. I think it's a great budget bourbon line, but the number 8 is just 80 proof. To me, it's completely watered down on the Buffalo Trace line, but that's me. But for a beginning bourbon drinker, I think that would be a good start. This is a little bit bolder than something like that's a little bit bolder. This is I would consider that this way. It's an 81 proof. It's milder than 101, but this is about as bold at 81 proof as you're going to have. I'm just going to do this one more. That's a very good way to say it. This would be about the boldest 81 proof that I think's out there. I can't say for sure, but definitely of the we'll call it 81 is a very unique proof because nothing else I know is 81 proof. But of the 80 proofs in that category, I think even Evan Williams Basic Black Bar, the Black Label at what is it, the 86 proof, I think would be mild in this. But this is a very very bold 81 proof. But if you're looking for something that could go in that budget beginning bourbon drinker, I think you could slide this one in there, not the 101. But for me, it's definitely the Wild Turkey 101. I think it's not even better. I think it's a better drinking experience. I think it's a better bang for the buck. I also think that I enjoy it more. But I think this is an excellent beginning bourbon if you want a little bit of punch to it and something that is by no means going to break the bank. This could be it. So, cheers. Thanks for watching. Take care.